Today we're diving into one of the most infamous unsolved mysteries in American history, the Black Dahlia case. It's a story shrouded in darkness, dripping with eerie details, and drenched in the unsettling glamour of 1940s Hollywood. From the shocking discovery to the numerous suspects, let's unravel the chilling details of Elizabeth Short's murder. Buckle up because this is a wild ride. Picture this. January 15th, 1947, Los Angeles, California. The sun is shining, birds are chirping, and Betty Bersinger is just trying to get her shoes fixed. She's pushing her 3-year-old daughter Anne in a stroller, heading down Norton Avenue. Suddenly, she spots something in the grass of an empty lot. At first, she thinks it's a discarded mannequin, but as she gets closer, she realizes it's a body. The body belongs to 22-year-old Elizabeth Short. Her body is severed at the waist. Her mouth is sliced ear to ear in a Glasgow smile. Strangely, there's no blood at the scene. Betty runs to call the police, unknowingly uncovering a case that would captivate the world. Now, let's talk about the elephant, or rather the missing blood in the room. The lack of blood at the crime scene immediately told investigators that this wasn't a spur-of-the-moment, heat-of-the-moment kind of deal. This was premeditated. This was planned. Someone took their sweet time with this, and that's a terrifying thought. It suggests a level of control, a chilling calmness that sends shivers down your spine. The killer didn't just end Elizabeth Short's life. They treated her body like a macabre art project. The precision of the cuts, the deliberate posing, the complete absence of blood, it all points to someone with knowledge of anatomy, someone meticulous and disturbingly methodical. Imagine the police officers arriving at that scene. Seasoned detectives, hardened by years on the force, probably thought they'd seen it all. But this was different. This was a whole new level of messed up. The pressure was on to find the person responsible for this heinous act. But little did they know, they were stepping into a labyrinth with no way out. The police have a Jane Doe, a horrific crime scene, and a city on edge. First order of business? Identify her. This is 1947. No DNA databases, just old-fashioned detective work. They take her fingerprints. Using the sound photo, they send them to the FBI, and they get a match. Elizabeth Short had a couple of run-ins with the law, nothing too serious. Her fingerprints were on file, and the LAPD finally had a name. Now let's talk about a name that's become synonymous with this case, the Black Dahlia. See, Elizabeth Short wasn't found with a name tag or a driver's license. The press, always hungry for a story, needed something catchy, something to grab the public's attention. And boy did they find it. The nickname Black Dahlia is a whole other mystery in itself. Some say it was the media who came up with it, drawing inspiration from a popular film noir at the time called The Blue Dahlia. A little too on the nose, don't you think? Others claim that Elizabeth's friends used to call her Black Dahlia because of her penchant for wearing black clothing, a fashion statement turned morbidly ironic. The truth, like most things in this case, remains elusive. But one thing's for sure, the name stuck. It became a symbol, a chilling reminder of the young woman whose life was tragically cut short and the mystery that continues to haunt us to this day. As the Black Dahlia case gripped the nation, a chill settled over the police department in Cleveland, Ohio. You see, they were no strangers to gruesome murders. Between 1934 and 1938, a shadowy figure known as the Cleveland Torso Murderer terrorized their city, claiming 12 victims. And the MO? Eerily similar to the Black Dahlia case. The Torso Murderer, much like the Dahlia's killer, had a penchant for dismemberment. Their victims, often found in impoverished neighborhoods, were missing limbs, heads, sometimes even their identities. It was a bloodbath that left Cleveland reeling, and the killer was never caught. So when news of Elizabeth Short's murder hit the airwaves, the detectives in Cleveland couldn't shake this feeling of déjà vu. Could this be the work of the same depraved mind? Could the Torso Murderer have migrated west, bringing their brand of horror to the City of Angels? It was a chilling possibility, one that sent a fresh wave of fear through both police departments. Just when you thought the Black Dahlia case couldn't get any stranger, it did. 1 month after Elizabeth Short's body was discovered, another gruesome discovery rocked Los Angeles. This time, the victim was Jean French, a 45-year-old divorcee. Like Elizabeth, Jean was found in a vacant lot, her body bearing the marks of a brutal and personal attack. But there was one detail that set this case apart, a detail that seemed to scream out a connection to the Black Dahlia. Scrawled across Jean's abdomen in bright red lipstick were 3 chilling letters: BD. Below those letters, another cryptic message: Tex. The media went wild, speculating that BD could only stand for Black Dahlia. Had the killer struck again, leaving a gruesome calling card? Or was this the work of a copycat, someone looking to capitalize on the fear and uncertainty gripping the city? The police, already under immense pressure to solve the Dahlia case, now had another horrifying puzzle to piece together. Imagine being a detective on the Black Dahlia case. The pressure is immense. The media is breathing down your neck, the public is demanding answers, and every day seems to bring more questions than answers. And then, the confessions start pouring in. People, it seems, have a morbid fascination with unsolved crimes. Some crave notoriety, others are genuinely delusional. And then there are those who just can't resist messing with the police. Whatever their reasons, the LAPD was inundated with confessions, over 500 by some estimates. Housewives, soldiers, clergymen, even people claiming to be from other dimensions. You name it, they had a confession for it. Each one had to be meticulously investigated, a process that took time, resources, and undoubtedly took a toll on the detectives involved. It was like trying to find a needle in a haystack made entirely of red herrings. Justice undone. Despite the mountain of confessions, the countless leads, and the tireless efforts of the LAPD, the Black Dahlia case remained unsolved. Years turned into decades, and the file grew thicker. But the identity of Elizabeth Short's killer remained a mystery. Think about that for a second. A young woman full of life and dreams brutally murdered, her body discarded like trash. And the person responsible? They walked free. They lived their life, maybe they even forgot about Elizabeth Short, while her memory continued to haunt the world. The lack of closure in this case is almost as disturbing as the crime itself. It's a reminder that sometimes the monsters truly do win. They vanish into the shadows, leaving behind a legacy of pain and unanswered questions. The Doctor and the Dahlia. Now let's talk about one of the most intriguing suspects in the Black Dahlia case, Dr. George Hodel. This wasn't just some random guy who popped up on a police bulletin board. Hodel was a respected physician in Los Angeles, a man of means and influence. But behind that veneer of respectability, some believe there lurked a dark and twisted mind. Hodel's name was first linked to the case in the 1940s, but it wasn't until his son, Steve Hodel, started digging into his father's past that things got really interesting. Steve, a former LAPD homicide detective himself, became convinced that his own father was the Black Dahlia killer. He pointed to his father's medical training, which could explain the precision of the cuts on Elizabeth Short's body. He also uncovered eerie similarities between his father's handwriting and the handwriting on a mysterious note that was allegedly sent to the police by the killer. A bellhop's secret. As with any good mystery, there's always more than one suspect. Enter Leslie Dillon, a bellhop, aspiring writer, and wait for it, a mortician's assistant. Yeah, you read that right. Talk about a resume that screams person of interest. Dillon's name had been floating around the Black Dahlia case files for years, but it was author Pugh Eatwell who really put him in the spotlight with her book Black Dahlia Red Rose. According to Eatwell, Dillon knew a few too many details about the murder, details that hadn't been released to the public. Now, you might be thinking, maybe he just read it in the papers. But these weren't just any details, these were specifics, the kind of things only someone with intimate knowledge of the crime would know. Dillon was brought in for questioning, but he was eventually released, much to the frustration of some of the detectives who were convinced they had their man. The Black Dahlia case remains one of the most chilling and mysterious unsolved murders in American history. It's a story that has captivated and horrified generations, a tale of Hollywood glamour colliding with the darkest depths of human depravity. Despite numerous theories, countless suspects, and the tireless efforts of investigators, the true identity of Elizabeth Short's killer remains unknown. Was it the seemingly respectable Dr. George Hodel, hiding a monster beneath his charming facade? Or was it the enigmatic Leslie Dillon, a man who seemed to exist on the fringes of society? We may never know for sure. The Black Dahlia case serves as a chilling reminder that some mysteries may never be solved, some wounds may never fully heal, and some monsters may never be brought to justice. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into history's most intriguing mysteries.